question is, when we start the wireless sensor network, what is the fundamental difference between the question asked, the difference between the wireless sensor network and the IoT? So my point is that in wireless sensor network, they are, the densely deployed. Densely deployed means if you make the IoT application, so it is very small, and you can just place this application manually. You can place the sensors manually for you if you work on the for manufacturing process, or you can work on the retail or energy. So you can just precisely you can mount your sensor and provide the power supply. But in case of wireless sensor network, number one, it is a densely deployed, means order is very high. So order is very high means the number of sensor may be in the range of thousands. Number one. Second, once you deploy these kind of sensors, so the battery is irrepressible. That means you won't charge that particular sensors. So one-time deployment is there in the case of wireless sensor network, but in case of IoT, you can replace or you can continuously give the power, because it is ultimately controlled through your board, or the processing board. So this is some fundamental difference between the wireless sensor network and the IoT environment. And then the second most important difference is it is not necessarily all the information of wireless sensor network give it to the internet, give it onto the internet or cloud. Okay, so no need to any internet. You can just operate with the local area environment and process it accordingly. So this is the second difference. Now my point is, I'll probably cover in this case some open research problem in this case. Not exactly going into the applications, but what are the different open problem in this area. So as I know, the WSN is densely deployed, and they are very small in size. So for a small in size, basically it comprises of 3 units. Sensing unit. Sensing unit means it senses the physical quantity and convert it into electrical quantity. Right, and then the electrical quantity, if it is in the analog in nature, again you have to put the ADC to convert it into the digital format. Processing unit, if you capture the data from so many sensors, so you have to make a small packet instead of the 1,000 packet. You have to compress this data. So the processing is also key the important role. And ultimately, when you acquire any data, physical quantity, your aim is to transmit to some other sensor or the base station. So communication unit is also required. So the 3 important unit. Some of the sensor network is also equipped with the solar cell or GPUs unit, etc. So I'm not discussing in detail, but that kind of sensor is also available in the market. So now we come to whenever you have the mind in the wireless sensor network, the following important thing is required. So essentials when you construct the wireless sensor network. So for the same context, because as such there is no standard IEEE 802 protocol available for wireless sensor network, because all the network is driven by the applications, right? So basis on the application, the routing mechanism or the number of sinks or the accuracy or delay, everything is changed. So you can say all the QoS parameter is changed based on the application. So I propose in 2014 the network structure for WSN. So whenever you design any sort of application, they always fall in these 4 categories. So my aim is to communicate that's why my topic of my presentation is the wireless sensor network network structure perspective. So we'll cover these things. So first we have to some small fundamental things which is required to design the wireless sensor network. Number one is the mode of functionality. What do you mean by mode of functionality? So suppose you install one sensor. It is valid for the IoT as well. So suppose you install one sensor, and this sensor will give you reading every 15 minutes. So that means the periodic interval it will give you the reading. So what do you mean by periodic interval it will give you the reading? That means it is a proactive in nature. Now suppose you want to fix the temperature sensor. Whenever my sensor move to the 30 degree, whenever the temperature is more than 30 degrees centigrade, my AC is on. My AC will automatically on. So how? So you fix the threshold at 30 degrees centigrade. Whenever it cross the threshold of 30 degrees centigrade, then only it automatically on your AC. So this is the reaction-based approach, reactive approach. One is periodic interval, you get the reading. One is the threshold-based, reaction-based approach. So this is the second one. And when you combine these two approach, proactive and reactive, it becomes a hybrid approach. Why it is required? Suppose I install one sensor, and one sensor is not working due to the the hardware or the software constraint. It is not working. And suppose this sensor I install onto the nuclear power plant. Whenever any gas leakage come into the picture, it immediately respond me back. So I was under the impression that there is no leakage is there. But actually, the real time scenario, my sensor is not working at all. So I'll do one thing. In every hour, it send me a hello message. Yes, I am alive. I am on. So it just again depend upon the applications, whether it is a the crucial application or the normal applications. So for every defense sector, if you work on this, you can just always use the hybrid technology. That means proactive as well as the reactive. Second one is the network node. Node means the small tiny unit which is the sensing, processing, and communication capability. So homogeneous means the same type of sensor is deployed. That means all the the temperature sensor and all having the initial energy of 1 joule. Heterogeneous means the sensor which is consists of the temperature, pressure, humidity. So the variety of sensing phenomena in this case, or maybe the huge variation of the initial energy, like some of the sensor is in the 1 joule or other 50% sensors are in the 10 joules of energy. So like that, the variation of their nature, or you can say the energy level, so make the network node maybe a homogeneous or heterogeneous. Heterogeneous, obviously, it will become the complex networks because it is, the variety of the event is to, monitor. So now the third point is the transmission mode. When we deploy the sensors and then they talk to each other, wired or wirelessly, that means they form a network. So what type of transmission mechanism you are using? Are you giving the Wi-Fi or Zigbee or Bluetooth or GSM? It depends. It totally depend upon your application or the data capability. So this is the one important aspect. So each of everything you have to define it initially, then only you can come up with the product or the solutions. Right. Next is the application. So obviously, when you design a WSN, so sensor is equipped. So that sensor is obviously used for some particular applications. So you have to initially also define the applications, and then they come to my point. This is the network structure. So if you look at the figure carefully, some of the gray circle is there. Some of the gray circle is there, and these gray circle is what? Nothing but. The gray circle is what? These are the sinks, and the normal the circle is your nodes. So sink is what? It collect the information from all the sensors. So initial top two figure, it consists of only single sink, whereas the bottom figure is consists of the multiple sinks. So if any of the sensor information is traveled by one of the node and reaches to the sink, that means it is of one hop, single hop. So in above figure, my data is reaching from that particular node to this particular sink through one hop environment. Whereas in the figure V, my data is approaches to the sink through multiple hops. So this is the multiple of single sink, and previous one is the single of single sink. And in the bottom two figure, I put the two different sink. So one is the single hop, but there are multiple sinks here. And second one is the multiple hop, and the multiple sink is also present. So whenever you design application, your application will always fall off one of this category. That is 100% sure your network is fall off always on these one of the four category. Everything there is the people are writing the paper, many publication on WSN. So just change the little bit about the protocol. Then the famous protocol like Leech is available. Low energy adaptive clustering hierarchical protocol. Leech protocol is there. People the n number of versions is created of Leech protocol, but they are not considering this radio model. That is very unfair. So whenever you design in wireless sensor network, this radio model plays the important role. And this radio model is basically the depend upon our Friis equation, wireless communication, Friis FRISS equation, Friis equation is proposed by the scientist Friis in 1944. So the transmitting energy is depend upon the distance between your transmitter and receiver and number of bits. So transmitting energy is depend upon what? Number of bits and the distance between these transmitter and receiver. So the equation come out to be K means number of bits, E electronics means the energy dissipation inside your amplifier or the sensor node, D is the distance between the transmitter and receiver, and N is what? N is your path loss exponent, and this value is varies from 2 to 6. So 2 is means the direct communication, or you can say the free space communication, whereas N when we talk about the multi-path scenario. So this basically ranges from 2 to 6. It depends upon many factors, like you are using this wireless sensor network in the forest, dense forest, factory, or the urban areas, or the high-rise buildings. So there are a lot of phenomena come into the picture. So this range is basically moving from 2 to 6. But for my simulation purpose, we are always used for direct communication, N is equals to 2, and the beyond the optimum range or multi-path scenario, N is 4. So basis on this, we can decide whether we want the multi-hop scenario, we want the single hop scenario, we want single sink, or we want the multiple sinks. So like that, so you just explore this topic, and basis on this, you can just come up with these solutions. So I'm really whenever if you start working on this wireless sensor, or you are already working on this, so the paper. So there are two important paper, for wireless sensor network. One is for the wireless sensor network, a survey by IEF Euclides. Just write IEF AKLIDIZ, Euclides. So you can just got that paper. It is a wonderful paper. You can give all the essence of your wireless sensor network in one go. Second is the application specific protocol by Hendy Wellisman, or you can say the Leech paper. So these two paper is very important. If you just go through carefully, the most of the concept of WSN is clear in one, right? And then the layer classification. So as I discussed in the morning, we have proposed the 4 layers of IoT. Here I am dividing based on my problem statement. I am dividing the layer classification. So maybe you can work on architecture, means single node you can work, or you can make a network architecture mode. You have point-to-point communication. You have work on physical layer, MAC protocols, or you can say the security or data link layer, or you can work on the routing networking protocol. So whether it is a data-centric approach or content-based approach, then we move the higher layer of transport layer. How the relation between the application layer or the routing layer through the transport layer, where the important parameter, the QoS, come into the picture, that the quality of service. And then of course the addressing and naming, because there is no as such any kind of MAC ID in the node, because all are, you know, the just a reference ID or global ID. So the time synchronization, their location, their position, their addressing, their topology, every lot of, you know, the domain is open for that particular wireless sensor network. And these are the some of the, you know, open problem. So I can share the slides so you can take it. So these are the open problem in the literature. So architecture, you can work on standalone, what type of, you know, material, what is the size, how to insert into the ASIC environment, how to reduce the cost, and what kind of environment is required, what are the operating temperature is that particular sensor. So lot of you know, research is going on in that particular domain. So based on the architecture, based on the, you know, point-to-point communications, so how to, you know, minimize the control elements, how RTS, CTS, how the virtual carrier sensing approach, how do different type of, you know, the robot setting, synchronizations, naming, addressing come into the pictures. So there are a lot of the problem available. So my point is that just not start the, you know, directly the problem. You just go through these 2-3 papers. You can also refer my paper on the WSN. So you can just take the idea about that, and you just start working on that. And then when you just complete, you know, make your wireless sensor network, and then information, if you send it to the internet, it become a, you know, Internet of Things. Or you can just also apply the cloud computing, or data is very voluminous. You can apply the machine learning algorithm as well. So variety of things is available in this regard. So these are the some important, you know, problem which I identify in my literatures. And now the moving to the important aspect is, what is the objective? Why we, you know, design the wireless sensor network? How things to be, you know, controlled? So whenever we design, you know, the wireless sensor network, because it's very tiny, as I told you, very tiny node, and battery is not, you know, chargeable. So our aim is to minimize the energy consumptions. Number one. Second, because it is, you know, the randomly deployed, and you just through the robotic arm or helicopter. Because in Internet of Things, you can place your sensor manually, but in this case, you are not place the sensor manually, right? So coverage. So you have to deployment strategy in such a way to cover the, you know, maximum environment, maximum range. So maximum coverage and connectivity is the second point. Once you have the minimum energy consumptions or maximum coverage and connectivity, so the lot of, you know, the power is required during the transmission. So how you can, you know, avoid it, and how to minimize that to increase the network lifetime of the system. So these are the certain, you know, the point which is very important. So like that, you can work on these important point, and you can work on that. So I think this is the from my side. I'll take some of the questions, because the presentation is too long, so I'm not able to, you know, cover to do the entire portion of the application. So sir, can I stop here, or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm just, you know, stop my presentation in this point, and if you have the question, I can, you know, happy to give the answer as well.
Yes, sir. We have received some questions from our participants. The first question is, are there any simulator tools for testing IoT?
No. So number one point is the creation is IoT is important rather than the testing part, because if you same time you are telling the simulation, and of course the simulation, there is no such any kind of, you know, testing is there, because already you are using the simulation. So for simulation, there is no kind of testing is there. If you say that the any, you know, use cases or test cases available when we, you know, design the prototype, so yes, there are a lot of test cases is available. Yes, I told you, you have to prepare as per your need. You have to prepare these test cases and work onto it, right? But simulation, I don't think so. There is any testing mechanism is there, because already you are doing the simulation, not creating the project.
Okay, sir. Sir, another one question. Any machine learning and IoT based wireless applications in hand.
Any
machine learning and IoT based wireless application in hand.
in
Hand, HAND. They are trying to ask whether it is available or not, I think.
So as I told you, if you go to the Arduino Center, there are a variety of applications is available. So I'll give you this small example. So my point is that you just install 3-4 sensors in your home. Okay, so these devices, and try to get these results. Try to get these results onto your system. So okay, so suppose if you take the reading every minute, so you have 24 into 60 readings for one sensor, and these reading you can just store into your system. But when you store in this system, you just store into the CSV format, comma separated values. Once you have these values, now you can apply, instead of the artificial intelligence or machine learning, you can apply some statistic analysis. What do you mean by statistics analysis? You can find out what is the maximum value in this data, what is the minimum value, what is the average value, what is the standard deviation, what is the pattern, timing pattern. So for example, if you are using the temperature, so obviously the second half, maybe the evening to the morning, the temperature is slightly down, but from the 7 o'clock it's slightly increasing, and from 12 to 3 p.m. it is high, kind of thing. So you can just do the statistical analysis, clustering approach, and then you can use this scenario onto your wireless applications. So a lot of in lineup, if you go to the SDR or cognitive radio application, where people are working, because cognitive radio and SDR is the wireless application where data is huge.